What is the stupidest thing you have ever done? Finally gathered the courage to tell my high school girlfriend that we weren't working and that I wanted to break up, while forgetting that that particular day was her birthday. Sophomore year was a ton of fun. In 10th grade, I asked out a girl who had a crush on me because my friends and my future/current girlfriend egged me to do it. Never had a girlfriend before, so I figured why not. Immediately realized I didn't like her that way and spent a couple weeks working up the nerve to break it to her. Couldn't handle the guilt anymore and just told her. She broke down and I felt awful for honestly the rest of high school. But a year after we became friends and she jokes about it. So yeah, sophomore year was great. When I was 19, my friends and I used to go driving around in my Jeep Wrangler. One day, we decided to longboard behind it while holding an extension cord. Think similarly to how people water ski behind a boat. On our first attempt, I decided to be the guinea pig since it was my idea. Things started off fine, so they sped up to like 15 or maybe 20 miles per hour. I decided it was too fast, so I jumped off the board and started running while I dropped the cord on the ground. By some freakish miracle, the cord wrapped around my leg and started dragging me. I was dragged for probably a good 100 feet before they were able to get the driver to stop. My underwear got melted to my skin, and I had to peel it off, which was one of the most painful things that's ever happened to me. I couldn't sleep on my back for a couple weeks. I ran over my mom with a golf cart when I was 7, punched a window out of anger, and severed my median nerve, causing like 75% paralysis in my right hand and thumb. I almost did a similar thing, only it was a pint glass when I was drunk. Almost didn't even get stitches for it too. I just wrapped my hand with a towel and tried to go to bed. Security followed a trail of blood from the bathroom to my dorm room, and after they saw how bad it was said, I had to get it checked out and gave me a ride to the hospital. Doctor told me I was really lucky that I didn't slice my tendon and cause some permanent damage, just have scars shaped like a Nike swoosh from it. A week after getting my license, I decided to take a spontaneous road trip 300 miles to visit a pen pal in the next state over I had never met before. The stupid part is I told no one I was going, namely my parents, because I knew they'd freak. And when I was there, my car spun out while driving and I popped a couple tires. Well, I got one replaced and the other full of fix-a-flat. Then my genius ass remembered I had to work the next day. So I decided, let's see how fast my Civic can go. Maxed the speedometer at 125 for 2 minutes nonstop at one point with fix-a-flat. Oh, and I totally got lost and didn't make it to work on time. How I managed to make it home, let alone not getting pulled over, is still a mystery to me. I made a bet with my friends for a bag of hot Cheetos that I could swallow a biscuit whole without any water. Long story short, my attempt went south. This dry biscuit got lodged in my throat and I couldn't breathe for more than 30 seconds. I eventually knocked it out, but not without some panicking. I very well could have passed out or died by choking like this. I never got my bag of Cheetos. Another really stupid thing I did was let my drunk friend throw a rusty metal dart into my back. We were at a party in college when we saw a rusty throwing dart sitting on top of the fridge. As a joke, I said, "Hey, I bet if you threw that in my back it would stick." He said, "Of course it wouldn't, you fucking idiot." For some reason, this made me irrationally angry. By some reason, I mean a lot of booze. I said, "All right, then prove it." We went outside in the below freezing cold to let him throw it at my shirtless back. He lobbed it one time and it didn't stick in. He started bragging that he was right. This was my chance to get off cheaply, but my drunk ego got in the way. I said, "You barely even threw it, you pussy. Throw it harder." Holy shit, did he throw harder. It went right into my back. It was so deep in there that I was walking around the party with it in there while letting people take pictures with it. My mom made me go to the hospital for a tetanus shot the next day. One of the nurses said I was lucky because if it went in a few inches over, it could have punctured my lung. 0 out of 10 for the experience. Missing a lung was lucky. An inch the other way and you'd be paralyzed from the waist down, LOL. Given your comments, I am legit worried for your life and your inability to make sound decisions. Please tell me you've made some solid life decisions. I graduated college with a bachelor's degree 3 years ago and run an online business as my sole source of income now. So I've made some good decisions sprinkled in with the bad. Those stories were just a few from my party days in college. I went to a huge D1 party school, so people were doing dumb things like that all the time. Paid off my now ex-fiancé's student debt. My mentality was, we're going to be married. It'll be my problem soon anyway. She left me a few months later at it. Thanks for the kind words, everyone. It really has helped me feel a lot better about something I've been beating myself up over for a while. Stole money from a meth head, then told him about it. Easy way to get a revolver in your face if you're into that sort of thing. Edit nice. My highest upvoted comment is about me being involved with meth heads. To clarify, I was not on meth. Wasn't under the influence at all. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. Why on earth would you snitch on yourself? Especially to a meth head. I'd have just assumed they'd stolen as much from someone else in some fashion and let the universe take one off of my Paragon score. It's between throwing my iPhone on cement right before getting into a fight, smash the screen into tiny pieces, and telling a girl I loved her and shitting on her boyfriend while blackout drunk. I mean, nothing impresses a girl like scat aggression. Started smoking. I've been away from cigarettes for over 2 years now. I was told about cancer growing up, but I always knew that even if it was difficult, I could always quit. What my parents and school failed to tell me about the other part, tobacco, is the worst part now. Nicotine is a seriously addictive drug. You don't just get it all out of your system and wait a few months and you're fine. 2 years on, and there is not a single day that goes by where I haven't thought about how much I'd like to smoke at least 3 times. I'm miserable, and I want to smoke, but I don't because I already have heart problems and I don't need to make them worse. Oh no, I'm sorry. I am lucky now, it never crosses my mind, and the smell is repulsive. Stay strong, and I hope it gets easier. You should be so proud of yourself for overcoming it when it's so hard. Good luck. Well said. I'm trying to quit again tomorrow. Only attempt 100 or something. When I was little, I ate Comet, the cleaning chemical, because I thought it was mozzarella cheese. I sprinkled it on my pizza, and after the first bite, quickly realized it wasn't cheese. Edit. For those that don't know, Comet is bleach that comes in a green bottle. To my young brain, it looked exactly like the mozzarella cheese you would dazzle on a slice of pizza. That would also come in a green bottle. I think I grew up fine since then. You didn't, because all this time, you thought it was mozzarella cheese. It's Parmesan cheese in the green can. I think I grew up fine since then. Well, I mean, you're on Reddit. I wouldn't say fine. Create a friend-only law, where when we get drunk and one of us puts the empty box of beer on our heads, we're fully entitled to punch the box as hard as we want. Box head isn't a fun game. You don't have to put the box on your head. Easier said than done when you're not a dozen beers in with young adult hormones and one of your friends just called you pussy. When I was a kid, my father took me to the department store to buy a new winter jacket. He complained the whole time about the cost of new coat. Fast forward to later that day. I was in the garage, playing, and I came across a can of blue spray paint. I shook a few times and became very curious as to what was inside of that can that was clicking around. I secured the can in the vise and gave it a good solid whack with the claw side of a hammer. It was a wooden ball. I got hit a lot. Still trying to figure out what the jacket part was about. I thought you were going to say you spray painted the new jacket your dad begrudgingly bought. I never knew what is inside of the cans. I would bust it open with an axe, but I don't want to clean it after. When I was like 3, I decided it'd be a good idea to eat a chicken nugget without chewing it. I have no idea how I'm still alive. I vored a fucking chicken nugget and natural selection didn't get me somehow. I vored a fucking chicken nugget, fantastically descriptive imagery. I did the same thing, but with a tortilla chip. Very painful 0 out of 10, don't recommend. I was working out with some good buddies back in high school during the summer between our junior/senior year. It was pretty early on in our working out, and I was a pretty chubby kid for the most part. However, my friends were pretty fit and did workouts like ours regularly. Naturally, I was ready to listen to whatever they had to say on what workouts I should be doing. My friend B goes up to the closed garage door. We worked out in his garage to do a handstand push-up. Super sick, looks cool, and I am ready to show I am a fit person now after 2 or 3 workouts. I walk up, proceed to try, and realize how much I weigh and how much I can lift are vastly different. I go down, but I am tenacious. Persevere, my parents told me in 7th grade whenever I cried after football practice. So I try again. This time I go up to the garage and flip my feet up against it, and feel my arms shaking. So instead of crumpling, I slam my back against the garage to slide down easy to the ground. I just happened to slam right into the sharp metal hinge on the inside of the door and proceeded to slide down about 2 inches before I realized I'm in immense pain. I knew it was bad when I asked my friends to look at it, and all I heard was a soft, "Oh, hey, why don't we go into the kitchen?" I now have a long 2-inch scar on my back. I once hit myself in the face with the door while opening a door to this day. I'm still not sure how I pulled it off, but it happened. I once did the same thing. Got knocked down in the front of my whole camp cabin and said, "That's a really soft door. It's been 6 fucking years and nobody will let me live it down." I was at a show and bought a beer. The kind with the magnetic hole in the bottom. Was playing around with it until I pressed the hole and all my beer fell out LOL. What kind of screwed up world do we live in that there's beer with magnetic holes in the bottom? What is hole meant to be for? Fills the glass from the bottom. Got really high while home alone and decided to eat my girlfriend's zucchini bread. Basically, my high brain only sent a single chew command followed by an instantly regretful swallow. I felt the gigantic chunk of once chewed bread lodged in my throat immediately. My first step was to try to take a drink of water to wash it down, and I could literally feel the cold stop halfway down my throat. Then panic set in, and I grabbed a chair from the table and tried giving myself the Heimlich to no avail. I stood up, and for the first time in my life, I could see the darkness coming in from the outside of my vision. I could feel myself starting to pass out and decided to go for broke and just shoved my entire hand down my throat and broke it up. Took a huge gasp, saw stars, and had throat skin under fingernails. Throat hurt for a good couple weeks, but at least I'm alive. Happy you're alive too. That's terrifying. Tell me about it. I'm lucky it was bread. If it were steak, I would have probably just pushed it deeper. It honestly gives me goosebumps to think about, and it happened a couple years ago. Chew your food. One time as a kid, I was so excited to be eating mozzarella sticks that I half-assed chewing one. I started choking, but my family was still in the car. So my parents didn't know what to do but freak out and drive faster. My instinct? Reach to the back of my mouth and pull it out, forcing my brother and mom to watch me do this. Luckily, I didn't have to go in my throat like you did TBH. It scared me slightly, but I just went back to eating straight after, making sure to take smaller bites. Probably when I told my friend over the phone that I was looking for my phone, so they got a hold on while I looked for it. I've done similar. Panicked looking for phone while playing a game on said phone. Gotta be when I did 3 straight double shifts in a row at work. I came home, and my then wife asked me to plug in her phone. So my exhausted self grabbed my deodorant stick and tried to plug it in. "That's not my phone," she says. "Yes, it is." "No, it's not. That's your deodorant stick, you idiot." Get my job, packed a suitcase. Flew around the world to Japan on a one-way ticket with no job or visa and without knowing the language. Quit my job, packed a suitcase. Flew around the world to Japan on a one-way ticket with no job or visa and without knowing the language. That sounds like bravest, not stupidest. It's a thin line. What happened to you? Did you stay in Japan? Did you fly to other countries? Or did you just fly back to your own country and proceeded to pursue your old lifestyle? I met a local karate master who offered to teach me karate, ended up staying, learned karate, married a hot Japanese girl, had kids, and bought an apartment in Tokyo. When I was a teenager, my friends and I used to organize these scavenger hunts in downtown Chicago. But instead of finding things, you had to do things instead. We got the idea from a Viva La Bam, and it originally just started with 4 of us and a list of like 50 things, and grew to like 35 people with a list of almost 200 things and thrift store trophy for the winner. I did a lot of stupid things because of these scavenger hunts, because the list was ridiculous. Things like eating 6 raw eggs, eating a raw onion like an apple, holding a conversation with a street sign for 5 minutes, etc. Even got kicked out of Water Tower Place for playing tag when the hunt got rained out. However, out of all the stupid things I did for the hunt, I think the absolutely stupidest thing was eating a dollar bill. I think about it now and cringe at how disgusting that was and all the places that bill had been before I ate it. And let me tell you, eating it was no easy feat either. Took like 10 minutes to get it all down because it's basically like eating a t-shirt since our money is fibers and not actual paper. Even though all of that was very stupid, I have great memories from those scavenger hunts and don't regret them for one bit. I wasted $2,000 as a kid because I thought credit cards were unlimited money. There was a girl I asked to see a jazz concert with. I thought she just liked me like a friend. When I picked her up, she asked if I like her dress. I said, yeah. And she said, I'm not wearing panties under here. I didn't miss a beat and said, oh, right, to avoid lines. Right? And we saw the concert and I dropped her off. Realized the next morning how fucking stupid I was. During dance class, I attempted a switch kick, but my brain must have short-circuited and I kicked both legs up instead of just one. One of my many back-related injuries, was outside a restaurant, playing with rocks as 8-year-olds do. Think to myself, hey, it would be pretty fucking cool if I throw this rock up onto the overhanging roof thing, right? I chucked that thing with as much strength as I could muster. Missed the roof. Didn't miss the window underneath the roof. No one found out. Moved to Alberta and lived with my mentally unstable Jehovah's Witness grandmother for 3 years. Lost all of my social skills, happiness, etc. When I moved back in with my mom, I ended up doing drugs because depression. I'm doing way better now, minus the social skills recovery. Is it the stupidest? Ick. But it's definitely on a Mount Rushmore of stupid shit I've done. I agreed to sublet my room at my apartment and move in with my ex because I was always there. She was already my ex when I moved in. How dumb was I? 6 months in total I lived with her, and it was 1 month of fun times and 5 months of hell. Lesson learned. I did work a lot extra in order to avoid going home. The extra money was good. Hate sex, and make-up sex are also a good time, so all in all it still wasn't worth it. Called off to my job, knowing full well that I was going to go over my points and get fired with no backup plan or money. When I was little, my friend and I decided it would be fun to play a game where we would turn off the lights in his basement and put trash cans on our heads and try to wrestle. He ran into me and gave me a black eye. I don't understand how either of us thought this game was going to end well. Cared about other people's perception of myself during high school. Now I just do the things I like without thinking about whether people see it as something cool. When I was 11, the kids on the other side of the back fence were being assholes, throwing shit at me and talking shit. So I decided to grab my mom's pepper spray and spray them. I didn't take the wind into account, and it sprayed right back in my face. Late to the post, but going to throw it in because maybe it'll serve as a warning to someone. I got behind the wheel while drunk and on a bucket load of drugs a couple years ago when I was a drugging, and very stupid boy. Was only going like 15 or 20 blocks. Crashed my car into a pole 2 blocks from my house. Didn't hurt anyone by the grace of God. Was arrested. Spent the night in the drunk tank. Combined cost was about $10,000 between lawyers' fees and fines and car repairs. And I found a cheap lawyer, plus the cost of having a blow box installed. A couple years later, I have put all that behind me and have paid off the costs, but am still paying a very heavy toll on my choice via my insurance. Just don't do it. Doesn't matter if it's a block or 100 kilometers, stay the night, pay whatever the cost is of getting driven home, call someone. If you've had anything to drink, just don't drive. Never worth it. Find abandoned. Homemade boat with 2 friends. It was made of few wood pieces and 4 tires. We went on the river with it. Totally not safe. Ooh, this was recent. I normally keep Visine in my front left pocket. One day, my eyes were heckin' dry. So, feeling a small bottle in my front left pocket, I grabbed it and squeezed a dropperini straight in the old eyeball. It was not Visine. It was permanent fabric adhesive. Caught it immediately. Flushed my eyes for 20 minutes. It was fine. Glad I learned this lesson with a 30-minute fabric adhesive and not, say, super glue. Didn't happen to me, but I was there. Went for a sleepover at my friend's house. We stood up all night playing Lego Star Wars 2 Gold. Anyway, by the time the clock had about 2 a.m., my friend said he needs to pee. He stands up and heads to the bathroom. 2 minutes later, he comes back, and we decide to sleep. I wake up some time later with a sudden urge to take a piss. I step into the restroom, and under my feet, I feel cold liquid. My friend had peed all over the floor. This made me remember something I do frequently. When I'm done in the bathroom, and I'm going to turn off the bathroom lights, I hit the flush button after I had already flushed. I, on a few occasions without thinking, blew cool air from my mouth on the hot water running out of my tap to cool it down so I could start drinking it sooner, as if it was hot water in a container. My immediate thought was, "Oh my word, you dumbass," and had a bit of a laugh at myself. I've caught myself doing it a few times since. I'm in my late 30s. In health class, we were talking about skeletons, and we ended up talking about animals with no bones. I want to go say the octopuses have no bones, but ick the plural form of octopus. When saying octopuses, I accidentally said octopussy really loud, and continuously laughed as my face got super red. It's now an inside joke, but I still get embarrassed by the thought.